Action.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. I am Frank.
And I'm LC.
And this is Live or Die. So today, I'm very excited.
Me too.
Why?
Because we're talking about video games.
We are, yes. Same reason. Video games and console-to-screen adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
What works, what doesn't. Before we start, what is your favorite video game?
Favorite horror video game?
Just video game.
Oh, of all time?
We know it's Yoshi's Island.
Yoshi's Island.
I'm disgusted.
But I also really like Rayman.
Rayman's pretty cool.
Yes.
We played Rayman a lot.
Yes. In the Lego games. Lego Harry.
Yeah, well, I like the Lego games.
I like the kid games.
Before they started talking.
Yeah, I like when I was like...
Yeah, that is better.
Yeah, I agree.
Mine aren't as lame. Favorite current gen, Dead by Daylight. Current retro, good lord. Favorite
Come on, current retro.
Current retro. Favorite retro, probably
Don't say something stupid.
Dino Crisis.
What is that?
It was like a Resident Evil game, but with dinosaurs.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds crazy.
It was really good.
Okay, so I also used to really love, since we're going retro, I didn't do retro. You didn't tell me
Yoshi's Island.
You didn't tell me the rules. No.
Yoshi's Island is retro. It's on SNES.
So my favorite game was on Nintendo 64. It was a game called Perfect Dark. That game was so awesome. One summer I played that game like crazy. That when I would go to sleep at night, I would see my little gun.
I would hear the music. I would play so much I would hear the theme music or whatever I was playing. I'd be laying down and I'd be like, wait.
I just would
what's going on?
My favorite battle mode was King of the Hill. Where, essentially it's capture the flag.
It's very Fortnite of you.
Yeah. And so I would close my eyes and I would see my little yellow person running to go find
Maybe that's just your imagination.
It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, this game took me over almost as much as Mortal Kombat, Armageddon.
Armageddon was so
took
good.
me over. I wanted to beat that conquest mode so bad.
And I don't think you beat it until
I never beat it until I was an adult.
I think I beat it.
No, I beat it.
No, you didn't.
I did.
We bought it on the Wii and played it on the Wii, and I beat it because
it looked so ugly on the Wii because I didn't have it on the Wii.
It looked the same as it did on PS2.
I don't know. Something looked ugly about it.
Okay.
The people were blocking.
That's just how the game
looked.
looked.
Women were like...
Yeah. They were men.
Yes. I don't know what was happening.
That's fine.
But it was a great storyline.
Right. So today we're going to go through kind of what makes a good adaptation.
Yes. Wait, time out. I want to know your favorite horror game. Like only horror. Is it still Dead by Daylight?
No, that's just a good asymmetrical game for like with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite horror game? Horror.
Your favorite horror game? One that gets you real
I think
moist.
I'm going to say... I'm always moist. I'm going to say Until Dawn.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Because it was like everything I loved about Heavy Rain, but in a horror movie setting.
Remember that Killer Vision?
Yeah. That was when I invented that term.
Yes, Killer Vision.
Killer Vision. Because you would get the POV of the killer, and it's always like distorted or like infrared or whatever.
Because it was the Wendigo.
Yeah. So spoiler. Sorry. I just decided it was Killer Vision. So now anytime we watch anything and it goes to the killer's POV, I'm like, Killer Vision.
Yes, that's Killer Vision. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So my favorite horror game is Dead by Daylight. Because like you said, it's fun to play with friends, but it's also fun to play by yourself. It's also a game that I'm really, really, really good at. And I'm not... It's a game I'm really, really good at. And when you play against the right killer...
Yeah.
You feel like you're in a horror movie. Like anytime, like back when it was new before all these like other killers came out and when Michael Myers was the new killer, everyone would play him. And there's this cool thing about him that if you don't level him up, you can pretty much move around.
Yeah. So basically the killers have a killer terror radius. And if the survivor is within a certain amount of feet from them, their heart rate will go up.
Yes. So you know that the killer is around.
With Michael, he has an ability to stalk the people that are in the game, and there's 3 different tiers. So if you stay tier 1, he has no terror radius of any kind, so he can literally just walk up behind you and get you.
I would be doing a generator and I just happened to turn around and look and I just see him coming for me, and just like playing that at night when like my kids are sleeping and I'm trying to be quiet, it's not working because like I turn around and see his ass there and I'm just like Oh my God, run.
You scream loud.
I do. I feel like I'm in a horror movie. And if they brought that game to Oculus, I don't know if that would ever be possible, but how awesome would that be?
Well, they're expanding quite a bit. Not with VR.
Yeah.
But they are doing an Until Dawn style game.
Interesting.
Of Dead by Daylight, new killer, new survivors, everything. And then they're doing the movie.
Yeah.
The movie I'm very excited about. Kind of.
I'm not excited about it at all.
Why?
I don't think about it.
Oh, that's sad.
I mean, so I have this thing where I don't want to hear that a movie, like today, I don't want to see an ad for a movie coming out in 2026.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that's so far off,
yeah.
you know? So when it's like months leading into it, then I'll get excited.
I think at most 3 months.
3 months is all I need. Like I hate, unless you're at a movie theater. When you're at the movie theater, I understand like those extended previews because it's like, hey, soon you'll be seeing this. But don't tell me about no movie coming out in 2 years.
End of next year.
Because I'm not even going to think about it between now and then, you know? So I haven't thought about it.
That's fair. We'll reconnect.
But something I do want to ask you, since we're on the topic of video games, and horror video games in particular, how would you rate, as a Dead by Daylight, you know, fan, the Friday the 13th game? I know it ultimately fell apart, but did you like it as much as Dead by Daylight? Because it's very similar.
I did not like it even half as much.
Really?
Because I felt like there wasn't enough variety in the maps. The map was too big.
100% agree.
And there wasn't a clear direction for the survivors on where things were, what to do. It was just kind of like run around and hope you find it. And like, okay, I get it. That's what they do in the movies. But like, at least like the Evil Dead game was much better in that sense because like the maps were still huge and you knew what you were doing. You knew where to go. It gave you a little icon on the map. Like it was more fun, even though it was literally the same game.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with you that the maps were huge. However, that didn't bother me. I also agree with you that it's like we're just looking around trying to find our way out. But even that didn't bother me because like you said, I mean, it's the movie. They don't have an objective in the movie other than try to survive. So I was fine with that. The part that bothered me and what made me stop playing the game was that I couldn't turn the chat off. I don't want to hear a bunch of 10-year-olds. I couldn't figure out how to turn my chat off. And I don't want to be sitting in there with 10-year-olds saying like, balls, 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 balls. Like, what the hell? Like, you know how kids are like, oh, are you serious, bro? What? Like, no. Like, I'm playing this horror game. Like, I love in Dead by Daylight. I don't talk to anybody unless I'm in some kind of party. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know anything about you. You don't know anything about me. If we've played a great round, maybe I'll add you. But like, I just want to be solo. Like, I don't want to hear the children. And it's never adults either. Like, ever.
I only play with adults.
No. I mean, when I end, because you know, you don't pick who in the Friday the 13th.
But like every now and then when we had a good sized party in Friday the 13th, there'd be one or two kids. But like before the game starts, you just mute you just mute them specifically.
Always kids when I play. Like, I don't know if I'm going at the wrong times or something. But every time I play, there is never another adult. It's like, I think it allows you up to 10 people. And it's just like me with 9 kids.
Well, that could be a problem.
And they're all boys. And they're all balls. You suck balls. And
little kid lover. That's what it's giving.
Michael Scott.
Yes.
But no, so it's like that was an aspect I did not like. There were some things that I thought was really cool. Like, you know, if you died, you could get a chance to come back as, you know, Tommy, or what was his name?
Yeah, it was Tommy.
It was Tommy. Yeah. So I loved those things. Like there was so much good about it.
Yeah.
And then I hate that it kind of fell apart.
It fell apart because of the
lawsuit,
legal thing. But I think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game like stepped up everything they did.
This is a game that's currently in existence right now.
Yeah, it came out like in October
of last year. Why didn't I hear about this?
I don't know. It's literally like,
why didn't you send this to me? Like, you're my news source.
It's like Dead by Daylight, but there's 3 killers at a time. It's like the family. It's Leatherface, the old man. Yeah, it's really cool.
Do you have it?
No, I have it on the Xbox.
What?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me about this? It's been months.
I sent it to you and you said, I'm not interested. I don't like Leatherface.
That sounds like something I could have said.
Yeah.
Because I don't like him.
No.
But the game sounds fun.
The game is super fun.
You've played it?
Yes.
How'd you like it?
I just said.
Like compared to Dead by Daylight, do you think I would like it like that?
I don't know if it has the same longevity as Dead by Daylight, but the play value is the same.
All right. Who's your favorite Dead by Daylight killer?
Ooh. Who? I don't know. I play a lot as Freddy, but I don't like him after they nerfed him and like changed the way he plays completely.
I hate that too.
So I think right now, probably the Knight.
He's somebody new. I ain't played in a while, y'all. I'm telling on myself.
Yeah, no, he was.
I've been playing on the iPad lately, and we don't get the same killers.
No, you get them later.
Yeah, we get them way later. So it'll be like this time next year, I'll have the Knight.
Mm-hmm. It's true. No, he's cool because he can set off like little guards that will kind of patrol.
What? And he's a DBD original killer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I love that.
Who's yours? So
I never play as killer because the killer is first person view, and first person view confuses me. Mm-hmm. So I very rarely play as the killer. It's only if I'm down bad and I need to get some points, and it's like 20,000 if you /3 survivors. So that's the only time I play as a killer. But so I'm looking at it from the perspective of someone running away from the killer, like who's my favorite
to run from.
Exactly. And I'm going to have to say, first I want to shout out the K-pop killer. I think he's a cute little killer man.
He is cool.
Yeah.
The artist.
Yeah.
Is that his name? No.
I don't know.
The artist is
K-pop
the girl.
Killer man is what I call him.
Yeah. That's fine. He is a K-pop.
Yeah, he was a K-pop artist who went crazy trying to get fame. So I think he's visually the coolest. Mm-hmm. But when I'm playing the killer who I feel like it's the most challenging, and when I survive, I feel like I've really done something, is the nurse. But it has to be someone who
knows how to use her.
Exactly.
But once you learn how to kind of counter that teleport, super easy.
Yeah. Super and then there's also the bunny killer. She's actually called the Huntress, but my kids call her the bunny killer because she has like a bunny mask. I think she's cool too because you think you're safe, and then all of a sudden you hear yeah, and she throws
her axe at you
from like across the map.
Yep.
So I think she's pretty cool too. But yeah, those are. Who do you hate trying to survive against? Pinhead. Mm-hmm. See, again, the iPad just now got Pinhead, and I haven't played in a while, so I haven't had a chance to play against him. It's the
worst. Like a timer starts when the match starts, and you see like a little chain going around your player icon, and if the chain goes all the way, then it starts like these chains of torment, and so random chains will just come out of the air and grab you and hold you in place, and then tell them where you're at, unless you get the lemon box and solve the puzzle to avoid that. But then if you solve the puzzle while he's not chasing somebody, he can teleport to the box.
Oh no.
So
it sounds fun though.
It's hard.
Yeah, the one I hate to play against is that I don't know. I think it's called Jigsaw, but it's actually Amanda. Or is it called the Pig Mask or something like that?
The pig.
Yeah, it's the pig, but it's so obviously Amanda.
Yeah.
I hate playing against her because she has a little crouch. Yeah. And sometimes you can't see her coming.
Ghostface does too.
Yeah, I hate when they have the crouch, but what really makes me hate her is that she also has the ability to put a trap on you. So it's like, even if she hooks you and then you get unhooked, now you got to go find the damn
little thing to
get the mask off. And then sometimes you go and instead of it coming off, it laughs at you because it's like, this isn't the right one. So now you can't do any generators or do anything you need to do to survive because you have to get this damn mask off. And I've had matches where I have gone to like 4.
It depends on.
And nothing has opened.
It really depends on what perks that they have and their add-ons, because sometimes you'll put the mask on, then the timer won't start at all.
Really?
Or sometimes the timer will start and you can get it off. It is what it is. And then sometimes the timer won't go off, and it'll allow you to leave the match with the head on.
What?
And then sometimes it won't allow you, and it'll go off if you try to leave. So it depends on how they have it.
That happened to me because I was like, I'm out. Yeah. I don't care anymore. Yeah. You won't get the satisfaction of hooking me. Yeah. I'll sacrifice myself. I'm going to rage quit.
That's funny. So I think what's really important with video games, especially like Dead by Daylight, is there's a lore there, right?
Yes.
There's a world that's built. And if you are trying to take it from the small screen as a console game, whatever, PC game, whatever you want to do, and then move that into a cinematic universe, sometimes that can be a little bit tricky. Sometimes that's hard, and sometimes it just doesn't go the way that you want. Like if you look at Blood Rain, horrible movie by one of the worst directors of all time.
Oh my gosh.
Like that's what he's been labeled.
This is
like
not one
his
I've
movies are not
played
good.
or seen.
It's about a vampire girl. And
Oh wait, I did play this. She's like red, right?
yeah,
The red hair.
yep, and
white skin.
It was just bad. Like nothing about it was good. Kristanna Loken was the lead, and she was the female Terminator in Terminator 3. Mm-hmm. Michelle Rodriguez was in there, I think. It was just a mess.
But you enjoyed the game.
Yeah.
So I'm interesting. I said I'm interesting, which is true, but I meant to say I'm interested in. So when I saw the Resident Evil movies,
yep, that's a good adaptation.
Yeah, I knew that. Well, we'll get into it because I knew that they were video games. I did not have them, but I had a cousin who had them, and I would watch him play through them, and it was a fun time, but wasn't anything that I wanted to purchase.
Okay.
So when I saw the movies and I got into the movies, I thought they were like so super cool. Like 2 is my favorite. Like love the movies. And it was not until I was an adult and dating you and I watched you play through them that I kind of felt differently about the movies because I felt like the games had such an interesting story going for them already. Yeah. And I was very curious as to why they wouldn't just take that story. Like, why did we need Alice? Like, I loved her at first, but once I saw the actual story and the actual characters from the game, I was like, wait, where did Alice come from? Why do we have Alice?
That's why a lot of people have problems with the Alice Resident Evil movies, right?
She ain't real.
She's not real, but if you think about it, right, a general audience coming into a story like that where there's way too much exposition that needs to be given to explain everything to make it an entertaining time.
I don't agree.
Because we didn't play the game either. In the game, the only way you get the full story is to find all of the notebooks and the pages and everything that's left behind, and you have to read them yourself to get all the story. It's not like a narrative-driven thing. It's just like you can have the story if you want, or you can just go through, get all the items, and get out. So doing that doesn't translate well. And the reason, and normally I'm not for this, but I think the Alice movies are based on and not adaptations. So it's based on Resident Evil, you know.
So it's like this is a whole other storyline in that same time and world.
Basically, it's just taking elements and creating its own world. Because when Paul Anderson, who wrote and directed the first one, fourth one, fifth one, and the sixth one. He wrote all of them, I believe.
I believe he also did Mortal Kombat.
He did, the original.
Another game adaptation.
Yep.
We'll get into that too, because I consider Mortal Kombat horror.
Okay. The whole creative freedom that he had with just taking those kind of elements and starting the story, because originally it was supposed to be before the events of the first one. Okay. And he wanted an Alice in Wonderland kind of twist where she wakes up, she doesn't know where she is, she goes down the rabbit hole, which is into the hive.
That's cute.
And that's why she's named Alice.
I love that.
And that kind of opened the door for everything. Because then 2 was pretty much an adaptation just with Alice in it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it was in Raccoon City. We had Jill Valentine. We had Nemesis. We had everything that we needed.
I mean, again, 100% love those films until I saw the video game. And then I started getting into Leon and Chris and Ada Wong, and I was just like, wait, we have actually amazing characters here.
Yeah.
Why weren't they in the movie? And then when they were in the movie, they were like the throwaway characters.
Yeah, and terribly cast.
I wasn't going to get into the casting, but that's how I felt about the new one, the Raccoon City one.
That one was just a mess because let me tell you what's wrong with that one.
Go ahead, please tell me, because I mean,
people wanted to hate.
Choices were made, and I'm not sure I agree with them.
People wanted to hate on the Alice movies, but it had a very clear storyline, right? Yeah. 1 through 3 is kind of its own thing. 3 leads into 4, right? But then you can watch 4 through 6, still get the story. It's like its own little trilogy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like 2 separate parts.
Come on, Star Wars.
And with Welcome to Raccoon City, they smushed together the first and second and third games.
Yeah.
So now because they did that, they've completely changed everything, but in the wrong way. There's no reason why Chris, Jill, Leon, and Claire should all be in the same place at the same time. It just doesn't happen. And then because they were all together and in the mansion, and they didn't even use the tyrant, who was the villain in the first game. They went for Dr. Birkin, which is fine because we hadn't seen him on screen before. But then you've now completely eliminated the possibility of having Nemesis because Raccoon City is gone and Jill was in the mansion while they were dealing with Birkin.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I'm sorry. I've been thinking about Mortal Kombat ever since I brought it up. And I would like to know Do you think that Mortal Kombat was a good adaptation?
I think it's a great kind of like throwback nostalgia movie.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's definitely a feel-good movie.
I love it. I watch it all the time.
But Mortal Kombat, at that time, I think they were like by MK3, Ultimate MK3, something like that. They didn't have like
that's what I was going to tell you. They didn't have a storyline yet.
But they also eliminated everything that made the game popular, which was the violence. The movie's rated PG-13, and who dies other than Art?
Why are you coming for Art?
Because why did he fight Goro?
It was Art. Who the hell is Art?
Yeah.
Art is not from the game. He's Alice.
Yeah. But he wasn't even a main character.
No.
Yeah, he was not. So like there was no point for Art to be there. And that's like, and we're talking about making a good adaptation. You have to understand what it is that drew the audience in the first place. And if you remove that, you've now isolated the fan base that was there to begin with.
There was another death. I'm going to argue with you.
The black guy?
With the dreads or whatever, the twists, whatever that was. Yeah, he died. But the only reason...
He didn't have a name.
The only reason I thought of him is because I was thinking to myself, none of these combats were mortal. You know what I mean?
Fight.
What?
The game is called Mortal Kombat because it's like, we're fighting to the death between the mortals. And that's essentially what I'm trying to say.
Art was mortal. The black man was mortal.
No, it's a play on words. I don't mean like the actual literal definition of mortal. I mean that none of these combats involved a death.
Fatal? None of them were fatal?
I'm trying to do a play on words. Perhaps it failed. Perhaps it failed.
It was failed.
But for you to sit here and act like I don't know the definition of fatal or mortal.
As a professor, you'd be able to play words a little better. Just saying.
It's always somebody who would just say got no education coming for the people with education. I'm just saying.
I'm not mad at it.
Oh my gosh. I have a funny story. Remind me to tell you later.
Okay, well.
About your Japanese teacher.
Oh, God. Okay.
Lawrence had the same Japanese teacher. That's the story. Oh, I'm telling it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Love that.
Anyway.
What do you think makes a good adaptation?
Okay, from game.
Correct. Game to screen.
Yes. I think that it needs to be a game that already kind of has somewhat of a story.
Okay.
And I think that was the problem with Mortal Kombat because I love the film, but like you said, it's for nostalgia reasons. It's not a great film.
No.
I don't think anyone is arguing that it's a great film, but we all get super excited when the dun 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 dun, and all that stuff. Like anyone from that time gets excited and they remember how they felt when they saw this game, this film based on this game. So that's to me what makes it a classic. But like you said, at the time, the game had no storyline. Now, if they were to do
very
it,
basic, like here's a tournament,
fighting for our lives. That's it. If they were to do it now, there's so much story that could be used. Now, they could. I mean, they have done it now. I don't know why we keep saying if.
Because even that shit, like, okay, the fighting was cool, well choreographed. We had a couple really good actors as Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Loved them, but.
Wasn't my boy Kenshi Scorpion? Kenshi from Rush Hour 3? Or am I making this up?
I don't know. Maybe. His brother from Rush Hour 3?
His actual brother.
Yeah.
Lee's actual brother. Yeah, that was Kenshi. Yeah.
It was him. Okay.
Was that his name? Now you got me questioning.
I don't know, but I know who you're talking about.
It was Kenshi, but there's also a Kenshi in Mortal Kombat.
That's why I was confused.
Yeah. Who's your favorite character to play in Mortal Kombat?
Ew. It's a terrible question.
Why? You gonna say Scorpion or Sub-Zero like a loser?
Melina always.
Okay, mine is Scorpion.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Because I recently learned how to teleport.
Anyways,
I'm so excited about it.
So back to the movie aspect of it.
Okay, yes.
There's, I think, a couple components that make a really good adaptation.
Oh, I didn't answer that. Let me get back into it. Let's be rewinding. Okay.
Ew. Just go.
So I think it needs to have a story already. And I think I get what you're saying about the first Resident Evil not having like a solid story. But I think there were workarounds that didn't have to like invent Alice. Because again, once I finally watched the video games, I felt like the story was, I felt like I was watching a movie.
But you have to look at it from a screenwriting perspective, right? Alice is that character that's gone in, that is the audience member, that is the eyes and ears, that's experiencing the world for the first time. If we're jumping in as Chris Redfield,
I would have loved to jump in as Chris or Leon.
It wouldn't have been the same. And doing...
What year did the movie come out?
Resident Evil?
Yes.
2001.
And what game were they on?
By then, I think it was just before 4.
Interesting. So enough to have a solid storyline.
Yeah.
So we didn't need Alice. Because you tried to make your argument with the first game, but we was way past the first game, friend.
Alice to set up.
I just want y'all to know that he loves Mia Jovovich, so this is why he's fighting so hard.
Anyway.
For Alice. Because he loves Mia.
If we get her on here, you don't get to talk to her. You're banned.
He loves her.
I love her so much.
So much.
So much. But if they adapt it story point by story point, how's that going to be exciting for any of the gamers?
Because they're seeing their game come to life.
But we know everything thematically, story-wise.
I'm going to stop you right there, friend. Because that's like saying, why would you make Harry Potter movies when the books already exist? Because we want to see it come to life. I'm saying it's the same argument.
Okay, but it's also very different because they cut a whole bunch of stuff out of those. They can't change Harry Potter to Harry Gremlin. Like, they can't do that.
Come on, Harry Gremlin. I want Harry Gremlin now.
Like, they can't change it that much.
Somebody please make Harry Gremlin.
Because the main character, the whole point of Resident Evil is Umbrella. Not the characters. It's Umbrella and what they're doing and how the people interact with those situations. And that's what happened. And so that's why I said it's based on, because from there it became Alice's story.
Okay.
We got to 3. By the time we got to the third one, it was post-apocalyptic, which we had never seen in Resident Evil before. So it added something brand new to the franchise. And people always want to be like, oh my God, no. Like, Capcom was involved with this and had to prove it.
Yeah.
So it's not like they were just like, oh, we're going to do whatever and just fuck it all up. Like, and it's the same thing with Godzilla, because people were like, the new Godzilla, people are freaking out that he's pink. But
he pink.
Yeah, he transformed. But if you look at the spectrum of gamma radiation, the most powerful one is a pink color. So he's changed. Anyway.
It's giving, I'm an amateur scientist.
Anyways.
If you look at the gamma radiation.
It's just the gamma rays. It's just the gamma energy.
Okay.
The atomic energy levels, the spectrums.
Okay, well, we're going to have to agree to disagree on this. I think that the Resident Evil story, game story, was sufficient.
Yeah, but look what happens when they try to adapt it. Then you get Welcome to Raccoon City.
I enjoy Welcome to Raccoon City other than some casting choices I wouldn't have made.
It's the worst out of all 7.
I enjoy Welcome to Raccoon City other than some casting choices I wouldn't have made.
Oh, okay.
I had a great time watching it.
Love that.
I loved it. Wasn't Robbie Amell?
He was Chris.
I loved Robbie as Chris.
Robbie was great as Chris.
Robbie should have been Chris from the jump. Well, he was too young
to
be Chris from the jump.
They should do is stop, if they're going to keep doing this, stop doing the first 3 games. Jump into
maybe just 4.
Give us Resident Evil 5 in Africa.
I was about to say, get my girl Sheva in there. Like, there's, again, great material here. But I will say that this is my view now as someone who has interacted with the games.
Yep.
When I had no interaction with the games, thought they were solid films.
Yeah, because you don't know.
Exactly. But it's kind of like with Dragon Ball. So when I saw the movie Dragon Ball Evolution, I thought it was so good. And like Dragon Ball fans would be so mad, like that travesty. And I'm like, that's crazy. Then I became a Dragon Ball fan and I was like, what is this horrid movie?
Yeah,
how could I have enjoyed this?
Yeah. It's really, really bad.
So I feel like it's the same with Resident Evil. And I don't know.
Resident Evil's not bad. It gave you a full
No, it's not bad. You're right. It's not bad. I don't want that to come across. It's not bad, but I will say that the games had a fantastic story and could have been a film with, and not that exact story, because like you said, it's created to like be drawn out into a game. So yes, it can't, unless we're doing, parts.
Yeah.
It can't be that.
Final chapter part 1.
Yeah.
Love that for you.
Yes, exactly. So it can't be you. Oh, you. It can't be that, but there was enough material there that we didn't need the Alice stories. I'm not mad that they're here.
Yeah.
But we didn't need them.
But they can't find a good way to adapt. the story that is there, and I think that's the problem, and why that was
I think that was a problem with Mortal Kombat. I wanted to say that.
That's the problem that Mortal Kombat has now. Like, if this second one doesn't do what I needed to do, I gotta go.
I think they should just use from Deception on. Yeah. There was such a great storyline. I don't understand why we keep trying to create these random stories. It's not
even random. It's like they did the first one, like the Paul Anderson one, right? That was the tournament.
I love.
And then like the second game, it was against Shao Kahn coming to Earth.
I'm sorry, I have to stop. How would you have fixed that one?
What?
The Paul Anderson one.
I think the script was solid enough.
No, we got to do our thing. Recast or either recast or rewrites. Which one are we doing here? Because I think I got some rewrites. I don't want to recast. I think the cast was. Never mind. I do want to recast.
You want to get rid of Brigitte Nielsen, don't you?
I do. I don't like. It was not Brigitte Nielsen.
Who was it?
I think her name is Bridget Wilson.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, Brigitte Nielsen would have probably been a better choice.
She was a different person. She was the one who just came out recently and like looked crazy, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, what happened to her?" And she's like, "I'm never coming back to acting." But anyways,
wait, who said that?
Her.
Bridget Wilson?
No, some other lady.
Brigitte Nielsen from Flavor of Love. That
who the hell is that?
Now, Frank, did you see Beverly Hills Cop 2?
Let's just the white girl.
She was a supermodel. Amazing, tall, beautiful, gorgeous woman.
Because now I want to know. I'm pretty
You'll know her when you see her.
Nielsen. I was mistaken.
Yeah, exactly. So I think who you want is Bridget Wilson, I believe is her name. And she was also in I Know What You Did Last Summer. She was Buffy's sister.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
I hated her.
I was talking about someone else.
Okay.
She was fine.
No, I hated her.
She was better than the one they got in Annihilation.
No, we're going to stay right here for now. The Annihilation we'll touch on in a moment. But right now, we're going to stay on this Bridget Wilson. And I'll go first and give you some time to think because I've thought about this for years. And so if I were going to recast this Mortal Kombat film, the only person that I would recast, well, there's a couple, but the first person that I would recast would be, I think her name is Bridget Wilson. If it's not, I apologize.
To not Bridget Wilson.
Yeah, to not Bridget Wilson. But I did not buy her as a fighter. I think her stance was not giving fighter. Her moves were not giving fighter. I just, Sonya is this tactical expert and I just was not getting that from her.
I can agree with that.
Loved Johnny Cage. Loved the
he was
the epitome of what I would imagine as Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
Loved Liu Kang. Loved everything about him. The Sub-Zero, the Scorpion, I would have liked to have seen more of them, but they looked fine. They looked how I, wanted them to look. Yeah, exactly.
They had their scenes, their moments.
Exactly.
Good with it.
Yeah. So it was fine. Even the reptile was cool.
He was cool.
Yeah. So it's like everything else was fine. Now, when it comes to rewriting, if I'm not mistaken, you said that at that point in time, there were only like 2 or 3 games.
I think 3.
Yeah, so there was no story.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the only way I would have fixed this, it's really hard though, because I get what you're saying about it being PG-13 and that it needed to be R. But my question to you would be, at that time, what was the core audience for these games? Because they can't make it for adults if adults aren't buying the game.
Well, I mean, that was the thing. The game was still rated M for mature.
Again, they can't make this game for adults if adults are not buying the game.
Yeah, but the game was intended for adults, so the movie's intended audience should also have been adults.
I can agree with that. I can 100% agree with that.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So what do you think makes a good video game to film adaptation?
A couple things. Obviously, taking the story, right? The thing that draws people in and utilizing that in the right way. And then tone, theme, the visual aesthetic of it. It all has to kind of be cohesive and close enough to the game that it doesn't seem out of place. And I think that's something that Silent Hill did perfectly. The first one.
Oh my gosh, loved Silent Hill. And I've actually never played the game. I've watched you play it. But my first experience with Silent Hill was the actual film.
That's a good place to start, because when I think of Silent Hill, right? Like I look at it as, okay, there's the games, and then like I include the movie in kind of like that lump because it is Silent Hill to me. You know what I mean? Like it came out, it's very well done. It had a good cast. I was very angry when the cop died. Like they didn't have to roast her like that. But I just thought it was really, really good. Everything seemed dark, and when the siren would go off, I would be like, oh shit, like what's gonna happen? Like what creature's coming out now?
Yeah.
And I liked Cheryl, the main character. I thought
I liked Cheryl as well.
I thought she was a really good main character. I thought that she had a really good motive for doing what she was doing.
The girl, the mom.
Yeah.
I thought she was good.
She's okay.
Oh.
Yeah, she was okay.
Okay.
I can't remember her name. She was in
I hear it in my head, but I think it's gonna be wrong. Is it like
Rhoda Mitchell?
Yeah. I was gonna say Rhoda, so see, I would have been wrong.
Rhoda Mitchell. Anyway.
Not you dipping away from the mic. So I have another question for you. It's kind of random and I just thought it in my head.
Okay.
What film would you like to see turned into a video game?
Ooh, the reverse.
Yeah.
I think I would like to see a really good, like, Until Dawn kind of game of Scream.
Oh, I love that. That would be good.
Because it's like you'd have to walk over, you'd have to answer the phone, you'd have to pick your answers, you'd have to find a place to hide. Like it would be really cool.
That's actually really cool. Yeah. They should do, somebody listening should do that.
I agree.
I think that would be a lot of fun. So for me, I asked you this question, but I didn't think about an answer for me. So give me 2 seconds.
1, 2.
Give me 2 more.
Oh my God.
Okay, no. I think that I would like to see like an Insidious game. I think it'd be fun.
If they did it like the PT demo, then yes. It would be really cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did I make a good pick?
You did.
Okay.
Good job.
I was so nervous.
Gold star.
I was so nervous.
It's fine. But Silent Hill did it really well. The second one is a good example of not understanding your source material. Because it was like they tried so hard. But I don't know if like the budget was just not there, but like
not the budget.
Kit Harington was in it. Jon Snow. He was in it. He was the
I'm not a
boy.
Game of Thrones person.
Fine. Everyone hates you now. He was in it.
I know what it is.
Carrie Ann Moss was in it. Trinity.
Love her.
Yeah, so there was a good...
Oh, that's not her line. Never mind.
Dodge this. That's her line.
I was going to say, not like this.
No, that was the blonde lady.
Yeah,
that was Brigitte Nielsen. She kind of looks like her.
No. No.
It's fine.
No, but it's cute that you're trying to, laugh at yourself. It's great.
You know what adaptation I did not understand?
What?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
I know what. I don't know anything about Five Nights at Freddy. I'm going to be honest. No. My son plays this game. He was
huge in it.
Obsessed with this game. And so when I saw there was a movie, I was like, he's going to love this. And then I looked at the trailer and I was like, the hell is this game he's playing?
Because I played the game because he liked the game. And the game was kind of scary. Like it was a good game. And then the movie came and like all 3 of the kids can like name all the evil robots, like all this stuff, like, know all their names, everything. And so like I'm watching this movie and it has Matthew Lillard.
I love Matthew Lillard. I would have watched it if I knew he was in it. Josh
Hutcherson. He's okay. But I just felt like it was another one of those things where they were kind of pandering to a younger audience. So they dulled everything down.
Yeah.
And it just ended up not being scary at all. I guess it's probably...
But I mean, if it's for kids, though.
But if it's the game...
Is Five Nights at Freddy's for kids, though?
No.
Why are we letting AJ play it then?
It's not bad. I play with him.
Okay.
No big deal.
Okay. I thought it was for kids, like little bears and stuff.
No, it's like an evil Chuck E. Cheese, and the robots are possessed by children who were murdered, and they try to kill other people.
What?
Yes. It's not friendly.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So like there were some cool things about it, but overall, I just thought the movie was like...
Who were murdered at the Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah, at the...
Somebody is murdering at the Chuck E. Cheese?
I mean, it was closed down.
And they're taking them to the abandoned Chuck E. Cheese?
Or watch.
I think I'm going to have to play it now because it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I've got to get
Freddy Fazbear.
That's his name? Freddy Fazbear?
I think so.
What?
Yeah.
This game sounds crazy.
Yeah.
The more I hear about it.
But I think that's a good example of what not to do, because
so like you said, know the source material.
And that's where they missed.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it didn't deliver on what it needed to. And then this movie wants to be huge and do great numbers, even though it released on streaming same day. So now I have to get a second one. And this is where I got concerned because...
Why did you get concerned?
Because they were like, oh...
Concerned how?
We're really listening to what fans liked about Five Nights at Freddy's, and we're going to apply that to Dead by Daylight.
So we're going to get bears?
I don't know. I mean, the movie, like how they adapted the movie.
Oh.
And I'm just like, I don't want that because I did not like Five Nights at Freddy's.
I'm not going to probably even see this movie unless somebody tells me it's great. I'm fine with the game.
No one will tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm fine. No, I'm not talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm talking about Dead by Daylight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, unless someone tells me it's great, I'm probably not going to see it because, like, I'm cool with the game. It's everything I need. And this was something that I was going to say when it comes to these adaptations. I'm not so sure that games can translate well in that way because I just feel like when I have because I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, well, what game would I like to see turned into a film? And it immediately first I thought, okay, Heavy Rain. But then I thought about it. Do I though? Because I literally just watched the whole story play out. So what is
every perspective, so there's nothing left.
Exactly. So what is going to be different? Now I'm seeing real people do it.
Basically.
You know, like it nothing has changed. Like it's still the same.
Yep.
It's still the same game. So when I think about that, I'm kind of like maybe Resident Evil had it right.
That's what I'm saying. Like it did it right. But hear me out.
Because what else?
Because what I thought for Dead by Daylight was that if they did it like a cabin in the woods type movie, where they're sent into the fog, you know what I mean? And then based on like what they do when they get there, that's the killer that's going to appear. That gives it something a little bit different. It gives us everything we need for the characters in the killer. And then it can be completely different for the second movie.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Because, I mean, they don't even just survive in this game. Like, when the game ends and you think they've survived, no. Like, they're all these people are dead.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
The whole reason they're in this game is because they're dead.
Yeah.
So, what are they going to change? Like,
maybe they can come back to life. Maybe if they survive and open the exit gate, it's back to the real world.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, honestly, though, for a game like Dead by Daylight, where there is no real story, I feel like an adaptation may be easier versus a game like I just said, like an Until Dawn or a Heavy Rain. Like, it would be foolish to make that movie because it's kind of like,
what's the point?
We have the whole story. We know what's happening.
We have the whole thing with 25 different endings.
Exactly.
There's nothing.
What are you bringing to the table? Ending 26?
Yeah,
you know?
The worst one.
Exactly. So I think it's part of what you're saying about consider the source.
Yep.
If the source is non-existent, I think you have a better chance of success because then it's like, hey, you guys loved playing this game so much. Now, here's a movie that is in that same world, but not that movie.
Exactly.
So I'm going to walk back what I said. And I think you and Resident Evil have it right because I think those stories are cool. And I'm like, it'd be great to see it play out. But if you're someone who loves this game and have played this game 5 million times, what is in it for you? Nothing. You know everything that's happened. I'm even going to walk it back, my own book, my own analogy that I gave with Harry Potter, and agree with you now saying that it is different because I may know the story, but I never had a visual.
Yep.
So now, I am getting something from the table, but it wouldn't be the same with a video game because I've seen it also.
Yeah.
I know the story. I've seen it play out. So what you going to change now? In Heavy Rain, you going to have Brad Pitt be Detective Norman Jayden? Like, what am I getting out of this? You know what I mean?
Nothing, but what I heard.
I think he'd make a great Norman Jayden.
What I heard is that I was right.
Look, I was the bigger person, and I gave you your flowers, and you gonna make me take them back.
Thank you. They're in a vase.
The way you're acting, I'm gonna break the damn vase and knock it over. The way you're acting.
So, what is for you?
For me, L'Oreal.
Do you think is the difference between playing a horror video game and watching a horror movie? In terms of like that visceral kind of reaction that you have.
It's making me do my SpongeBob. You like Krabby Patties, don't you, Squidward? Smile. So for me, I love watching a good horror movie. I love getting into it. I love getting scared. But when it comes to playing a horror game, like a Dead by Daylight, 'cause that's really the only horror game I play.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like I get to be in it. I feel like it takes it that next level. It's like, remember that horror documentary we watched where the guy was like, the audience has seen everything. You know, the only thing we could do now is surprise them by coming into the audience and killing them.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is kind of a less extreme version of that. You know, I am in it now, you know, but still from that safety of my house. Like we talked about in a previous episode about why people are drawn to horror in the first place is because you get that thrill and that excitement, and then you're like, it's over and I'm still safely on my couch. I feel like it's the same with the video games, but it takes it a step further because now I'm interacting. Instead of yelling, don't go in that bush, I get to go into the bush. You know, I get to investigate the sound and know I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that's the draw.
Hello.
And then also too, I get to do all the things that I wish the heroine or the Scream Queen or whoever, I wish that they would do. Because when I'm playing Dead by Daylight, it depends on my teammates. If my teammates are trash, I'm not helping them. I'm not unhooking anyone. I'm doing the generators. I'm getting out of there.
Yeah.
But when I have a good team and I'm like, we're a good group, we're really doing it. Like, I feel like it's so fun for me. Like, oh no, my teammate's been hooked. I've got to unhook them. And now I got to come up with a little scheming plan to, you know, get over there.
Get them off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. So it's like, it's all the fun stuff that you get to watch happen in a movie. Now, like, I get to do it. Yeah. I'm the hero, you know, because I'm the Nev Campbell always when I play. So it's like I get to be the hero. I'm the Scream Queen. Okay. I'm going to save the day. And I will say 9 times out of 10, I escape.
Okay.
So
I don't know if I believe that, but
Frank, you play with me.
Exactly.
I'm going to knock your mic off the...
So
no.
What?
Can you please be honest for
what?
2 seconds and tell the viewers that I'm actually a really great Dead by Daylight player? Just come on, be for real.
So I introduced her to the game and she stepped in, did a pretty good job.
I was horrible at first. Let's be honest.
Really bad.
My generators kept exploding.
Really, really bad.
I was like, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. But now I think because she's so good at strategy in general, that this kind of game lends itself really well to her playstyle, because she can look at things from 3 different perspectives, figure out a solution, and then execute, and then escape.
Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome.
I think you're a really good player too. But I will say that Frank, like our son AJ, is just really good at all video games. So I felt really accomplished to be able to play this one with them and keep up.
Yeah, she kept up.
And then also, sometimes they need me. So that feels good. Instead of them being like, let's go back and get your mom.
Yep.
Like they are on other games. It's like, I'm coming, guys. Where are you? Is the killer near you?
It's definitely a nice shift.
Yes.
For sure.
Thank you.
But back to the question. For me,
yes.
I think that the difference, I mean, you pretty much touched on it. I feel like it's that one step further, right? Horror movies really give you that kind of safe sense of dread. You know what I mean? And with a movie, it's very different because the movie's going to play out regardless, right? Unless like you leave the theater, the movie's just going to, it's playing out. The characters are done. Everything's set.
Exactly.
When I play a game like Resident Evil Village, which is 7 or 8, in 8, there's a really good scene where there's like this giant mutated baby and it's coming down the hallway. You have to hide under the bed. Like, it's really disturbing. And It was like one of the scariest scenes in the whole franchise of the games. And when you're doing it, you can't just sit your controller down and be like, okay, go in there and I'm going to watch. Like, you have to do it yourself. And it makes it so much more intense.
It's the best part.
And I love it when I get to a point where I have to pause it and collect myself and then come back in.
Oh my gosh, you touched on something that I completely forgot to mention, but that you have to face it or you can't get through it.
Yep.
And what was that game that we played with Lawrence? And it was one of the characters' names was Chris Walker.
Chris Walker. That was
Outlast.
Outlast, yeah.
Outlast. And I think Outlast is the epitome of that feeling that you just described, where it's like, this looks really creepy and I don't want to do it, but I have to do it. And so then like you'd put the controller down and we'd be like, okay, is everyone ready?
Yeah, so
Are you guys ready?
For anyone that doesn't know, Outlast was a first-person horror game that came out, and it was right like in the height of the found footage thing. So like you're a reporter, you have your camera, you have to find batteries, you can't see in the dark unless you have your night vision on, and you have to investigate this like active insane asylum that's kind of like gone awry. And it's really, really good.
Oh my gosh, there were so many jump scares. Like so it was like when we played this game, it was right after we had our son AJ.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, we played this game right after we had our son AJ. So my brother, we were living in Arizona at the time, and my brother came to visit. And so we would put AJ to sleep, and then we would all get on this game. And like we're in the living room, like trying to be quiet because we don't want to wake him. But at the same time, we're like freaking out. And we did that with Outlast and Slenderman.
Yeah, there was one Slender game we played that was pretty good.
It's crazy.
But that's I think we talked about this before. It's one of those things where you have to allow yourself to enjoy the experience and be part of it. Because if you're going in and everything's like, you know, oh, I'm not going to be scared, I'm going to turn my volume down, and it is not scary. Like if you go into it with that, like you're cheapening it.
Yeah, you're not allowing yourself to have the experience.
Yeah, you're cheating yourself out of something.
Okay, so I have a question that just popped into my head. Mm-hmm. Remember when VR like first came out, or not first came out, but like was really starting to get popular, and there was like this my Uncle Ken, he got us this
the phone thing.
Yes. And so it was like this device, I don't remember what it was called, but it was like this device that you put your phone in it and you download VR games, and so now you have VR on your phone, and you just put like the thing.
What about it?
So I was going to ask, how did you feel about the horror games in VR? Because there were some games like Outlast on that VR thing that you had to play, and there were some I couldn't get through.
No,
I would close my eyes because you're supposed to like look around the room and find the clues. I'd like close my eyes, which is defeating the purpose.
On PSVR, Resident Evil 7, the Village one. Not the Village, sorry, it was Biohazard. So Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, PlayStation VR. Scariest gaming experience I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Because it was designed for the VR while they were making the game. So it wasn't like, oh, it's just added on. Like it was a really integral part of the game. And like when you're searching the house and you have to go from the basement to the attic and there's someone following you, and like you turn your head and to look behind you and there, it's a lot. And then especially with the VR, they have the little headphones like right in your ears. Like it really is a fully immersive experience that for horror in general, I think is something that's not tapped into enough.
I was just about to ask, would you like to see more VR horror?
Yes, 100%.
My son has my son, AJ has, AJ has an Oculus, and I'm wondering if I should tap into some VR horror games now.
You can. I don't know what Oculus has on there because I don't really like it, but I know that the PSVR 2 is Resident Evil 8 compatible.
Interesting. Maybe I'm going to get those things that Uncle Ken got us.
No, they didn't work.
No, they did work.
They were terrible.
It was good.
I didn't like it.
I think you're kind of a snob.
I'm not a snob. I just know what real VR looks like.
I thought it was fine.
It was okay if your phone fit. Remember, my phone didn't fit.
That's why you was bitter. Because you didn't have no iPhone at the time, weirdo.
I am switching back to Galaxy. So,
excuse me, what is this news?
Surprise.
Who told you? Who said this to you?
I said it.
What?
I'm doing it.
What? Why?
Because
you can't be in any of the group chats if you do this.
Well, if y'all want to segregate me,
we will segregate you. I'm telling you right now. I have so many group chats and Android users try to get in, and we say no.
To be fair, I'm not in any group chats now.
I'm in some group chats with you,
and they're inactive.
That's not true.
It's very true.
That's not true. Our Antigua group chat was bustling
while we were in Antigua.
It's still bustling a little bit.
It's not.
Our Live or Die group chat is bustling a little bit. Sharon was in there talking today.
Because she thought you said mama, not ma'am.
She was in there. I'm in some group chats with you. Why are you acting brand new?
You
want a dry phone?
What do you mean?
You want a dry phone?
You're the one who's not going to text me.
You're right. I'm not.
So that's a choice you're making to abandon me.
I'm telling you right now that if you switch from an iPhone, you've abandoned me.
It's done. I'm doing it.
What phone are you getting?
The new Galaxy.
I don't want this for you.
I'm gonna
protest.
Go ahead. Make a sign. Stand outside of the store.
I will. And every time I see you enter, I'll act up.
Okay.
Get us all kicked out of the store for life.
Okay. I'll order online. It's no biggie.
Mess up your Wi-Fi.
Are you ready now?
I guess.
Okay. So we're going to do the rating. But it's Resident Evil versus Silent Hill.
Versus?
First one.
Okay.
Rate them both. Who is the winner?
Okay. I'm going to give Resident Evil 2 stabs.
Okay.
And I'm going to give Silent Hill 0 stabs.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Silent Hill, when you compare those two like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it wins.
Okay. That's fair. I'll give Resident Evil 3 stabs. And I will give Silent Hill 1 stab.
Okay.
It's just a better adaptation.
Much better.
It was perfect.
And if you go back and watch Resident Evil, it has some problems.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
We love it.
We love it.
We love you, Mila. Cool. Well, I think that rounds out this episode of Live or Die. So make sure that you guys follow, like, subscribe us. Write us a letter. Subscribe. We appreciate you.
Always.
And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.